In the face of recent pressure to reduce the deficit, we've tried to focus on those programs which make a difference and have an impact on communities. I have supported the SBA and CDFI programs because I think they produce real outcomes, but we continue to ask the hard questions and demand proof that that's actually happening. For the SBA, for fiscal year 2011, we were able to maintain funding at the 2010 level despite the need to make some painful cuts in other parts of the budget. Put simply, small businesses, we believe, are the key to economic recovery. Small businesses create nearly 2 out of every 3 new jobs, employ half the nation's private sector workforce, generate 44% of private payroll. SBA has been on the front line of this economic crisis, working to help small business owners, and they've faced some difficulty gaining access to capital and turn to the SBA for help. SBA oversees a loan portfolio of $85 billion and in a typical year makes or guarantees more than $20 billion in loans. On our second panel, Mr. Warner Cruz will tell us about how the SBA helped his small business stay afloat during the credit crisis, but also helped him to make a major expansion of the business, including a renovation of an abandoned building in Rolling Meadows, Illinois. Mr. Cruz's business, restoring damaged homes and businesses from flooding, fires, and storms, unfortunately for the people who were owners, but fortunately for him, is now flourishing. 85 full-time staff, and many part-time staffers. SBA programs also supported counseling services for budding entrepreneurs and small business owners. I'm concerned about proposed cuts in those programs, which we'll talk about during the hearing. The budget request for 2012 for the SBA is $985 million. Now that's a $256 million or 35% increase in the current level. And I said to my staff when they said that to me, I said, can you be honestly and realistic about that? A 35% increase in 1 year in light of what we're going through? Much of the funding has become necessary for the SBA business loan program and disaster loan programs to stay operational. Some of it reflects some accounting realities, which we'll get into here. We'll talk about those. CDFI, the Community Development Fund, for fiscal year 2011, is provided $227 million. I placed a high priority on maintaining investment in this fund because of its unique ability to leverage private sector investment in community development, like affordable housing, retail development, community centers, as well as lending to small businesses. Federal grants for CDFI have never been earmarked for specific projects. Instead, the Treasury makes competitive grants that can best demonstrate a capacity to help communities. With just a small amount of seed funding, CDFI can transform communities. Nationwide, CDFI leverage an average of $13 for every federal dollar invested. In 2010, federal grants helped to create or maintain over 80,000 jobs. I've got quite a bit of information here about the impact of CDFI, but in one chart that I'm going to show a little later here, I visited the King Legacy Apartments in a tough part of Chicago, which used to be a vacant, pretty ugly lot. You get to see it here, before and after photos. I can tell you from driving through the areas surrounding that this really made a difference in terms of people's attitudes toward their community, toward their neighborhood. And let me show one other example. I don't know if we have the charts here of a CDFI investment in Illinois. Before and after pictures of Wilson Yard, a major project in Chicago's uptown area. It was built on the site of a former rail yard, is now a mixed-use development. Okay, there we are. And you'll see off to the right a huge Target store, which took over that vacant lot along with other businesses. And of course, former Mayor Daley's pride and joy, rooftop greenery. We have a lot of that in Chicago. We're very proud of it. And CDFI helped to make that a reality. On our second panel, we're going to hear, after we've listened to the testimony of our 2 first witnesses, from Warner Cruz, whom I mentioned earlier. He was the Illinois Small Business Person of the Year for 2010, an SBA borrower. Calvin Holmes, president of the Chicago Community Loan Fund, will tell us about the impact of CDFI in Illinois. And Raymond Creef from Kentucky Highlands, an investment corporation based in London, Kentucky. We'll talk about participating in CDFI and the SBA microloan.